Suppose a variable is growing at a rate g% per annum. We can write its value at date t as yt equals y0 multiplied by 1 plus the growth rate g divided by 100 to the power t. Now, we often have data for yt and y0 and we want to calculate the implicit compound growth rate. So how do we go about doing this? Well, using this formula we can write 1 plus g over 100 to the power t equals the ratio of y at date t to y0. We can then write that as 1 plus g over 100 equals yt over y0 to the power 1 divided by t. Finally, we can rearrange that to write the growth rate g is equal to 100 times yt over y0 to the power 1 over t minus 1, and that's the formula we'll use in Excel to calculate the annual compound growth rate of the series that we're interested in. This spreadsheet gives me data for a sample of 10 low-income economies. The first stage of my analysis is I want to calculate the compound growth rate for GDP per capita between 1970 and 2010. To do that, I'm going to use the formula we just developed, but I'm going to do it in stages. First of all, in this cell I'm going to calculate the ratio of GDP in these 2 years. So I type here the ratio of cell entry C2 divided by B2, and I copy that cell down here. Now I can straightforwardly use the formula we developed, and in this cell I'm going to type 100 multiplied by this ratio raised to the power 1 over 40, because there are 40 years in my sample, minus 1. That should give me the compound growth rate. And then again I'm going to copy that cell entry down here. That will give me the compound growth rate for GDP per capita for each of the countries in my sample. The next question I want to answer is whether or not there is a negative relationship between growth and the starting value of GDP per capita. And to do this, I'm going to plot a scatter diagram of the two series. The first stage is I need to highlight the data, so I put in first of all the horizontal axis, which is GDP per capita in 1970, and then on the vertical axis I'm going to place the growth rate. Then I go to Insert, Scatter, and click on this option here. We can see from this that there is in fact a clear negative relationship between growth rates and GDP per capita in 1970 for this particular sample of data.